Good morning! It's Monday. It's another weekly reading vlog and it's another week. I feel like at the moment all the weeks are just becoming one big blob of weeks, but just with 2 days split up where you don't have to get up for an alarm. So every week I am trying to differentiate in some small way, whether it's with the books that I'm reading or the places that I sit to do my work or just the kind of daily routine that I mix up a little bit. I try and vary daily where I'm sat working because I've got my desk, but I actually find I only feel productive at my desk depending on what I actually have to do for the day of work. So today, for example, I'm doing a revision for my diploma exam, which is on Thursday. Yay. And I don't really want to sit at my desk for that because it feels too formalised, so I'm kind of just dotting about my lounge. So I'm sat at my kitchen table at the moment. I think I'll probably go sit on my sofa or my chair in a little bit. Then I might sit at my desk later. I don't know, I'll just mix it up and kind of blob about the house or the flat. I have forgotten how to revise. I've got this exam on Thursday, it's at 2 o'clock. It's an online exam, thankfully. They were trying to get me to come in to the test base, which is about 40 minutes from where I live and is in a town above from me that has a university in it and is very busy generally, and I can't imagine is going to be the safest place with COVID at the moment. Even in lockdown, I think that they're quite a high rate at the moment for the virus, so there was no way I was going to go sit in a room for 2 hours with people, even if they were distanced. I just know I'm not going to shops at the moment, so I'm not going to go into a room like that. I don't think my OCD could handle doing that and then trying to take an exam on top of it. But the slight pain about this exam is it's a social media exam and the information on the course was out of date. So I'm basically teaching myself out of date information that contradicts what I already know to study for the exam, to just pass the exam, just so I've passed the exam. But I am not academic. I really struggle. My brain is very creatively wired. So to take an exam again after, I think it's been 7 years since I've taken an exam, I am struggling to train my brain. So by the time you're watching this, I'll have done the exam and hopefully passed it, or have to retake it. I really hope I don't have to retake it. But as far as reading goes, I'm entering this week reading The Hating Game. Last week I had an amazing reading week. I read 9 books, 8 of which I captured within my weekly vlog, which I was really pleased with. And I started this one on Sunday, yesterday, with the intention of reading it all in one day because Lauren and I did a live and we decided we were going to do this thing called Read Your Damn Book, Read Along, which several people were taking part in that were on the live, where we just all tried to finish our books. I hadn't started a book, so I was going to start and finish this, but I ended up having quite a few bits to do yesterday, so I didn't. I did, however, finish Fence Volume 1, the graphic novel. So made good progress in this. I'm this far through from yesterday, so that's about page 129. I'm going to be honest and say that I wasn't loving it to start with. I think the reason why, I was finding it a bit weird. It had a very odd tone to it, and the 2 characters in it hate each other. They work opposite each other. There's their desks, very small desks. They work opposite each other and they absolutely despise each other. They're from either sides of a company merger, so 2 companies have come together and they're both from the other companies and they're working together, kind of. So there's this real hatred there and they just are so horrible to each other, but there's this weird atmosphere between them. And it was just very odd and I couldn't place why it felt really random and it was like I didn't have half the story. And I think that's because normally with a storyline like this, we would normally meet maybe her, we would meet the main character, and then we would see him get the job once we'd already established her as a character, and then they'd get to know each other and realise they hated each other. Whereas this book jumped straight into them already having worked with each other for a while. They already hate each other. The relationship is established. We don't see it grow, so we're just kind of thrown in and expected to know their characteristics and their relationship with each other, which is just weird. So to start with, I was struggling with it. I found it a bit jolted. However, I got to a bit last night where I was suddenly addicted to it and couldn't put it down, and really enjoyed it. So I think I've pushed through that point. So yeah, I'm on chapter 11. So we've had a fair bit happen so far, but I will continue to read this later today and hopefully it continues to pick up. I am also reading the Akawa, A Court of Wings and Ruin audiobook by Sarah J. Maas. This is a reread for me, but I'm prepping for A Court of Silver Flames, which comes out just over 2 weeks away. And that's very exciting. I cannot wait for that story. It's Nesta's story and I am very excited to see her and Cassian and everyone, hopefully everyone is in it. I don't know if Faye and Rhysand are in this one, but I'm excited to find out. So I'm reading that as well. But as far as reading plans for the week go, I don't have any other than to just read. I have kind of lost sense of like what books I want to read next now. I've always kind of got a vague idea as to, oh, I know I want to get to that one after I finish my current read. But I think January I got as close to setting a TBR as I have got before, because I had so many things happening that I needed to read certain books for throughout the whole month, and a lot of releases as well. So I kind of got bogged down with having to do that, which is what I don't like about TBRs, because I don't like the idea of having to read something. But I was working on various different promotions and things, so I was reading books for that. So it felt like I had a TBR of sorts, and now I don't. Other than A Court of Silver Flames and finishing A Court of Wings and Ruin in advance of that, I don't have anything that is pressing for the month. So I'm free to read whatever I want. It's the start of another month, so it's the start of another, like, how many books did I read this month kind of thing. And honestly, I am struggling to not count and think about the count of it now that I've read 20 books in 1 month. I said at the start of this year that I didn't want it to be quality over quantity, and it isn't, because I'm rating my books really highly and I'm enjoying books I'm really loving. I didn't set out to read 20 books last month, I just did, and I was really enjoying all the books I was reading, so I'm not annoyed at myself. I don't regret doing that. Like, I didn't feel like I was rushing myself or pushing myself. I was genuinely reading what I loved. But I think now I'm like, oh my god, okay, I want to read a decent amount in February, so that January didn't just look like a graph going up here to down here. And in my brain I'm like, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're reading because you enjoy it. Do you know what? As a community, I can't be the only one, but it is very hard to ditch that mentality of thinking about the numbers that you're reading, because even when I do updates, I'm telling you what page I'm on and stuff, as if it's like a progress point, and it is in a way, but it shouldn't matter, the numbers of what we're reading and things. Like, I see so many people like that have replied to my posts saying, oh, I only read 10 books. I'm like, dude, that's amazing. I normally read 8 to 10 a month, most. So 20 for me was completely, like, that is not what I normally do. And yet people were like, oh, I only read this. I'm like, if you're enjoying what you're reading, that's great. For me, the win is, yes, I'm really proud of myself reading 20 books, but I read loads of 4-star reads, which I'm very proud of, because I just DNF books if I'm not enjoying them, and I only pick up books I really fancy at the time, mood reader. So I'm going to continue to read like that, and if I read more, I read more, and if I read less, I read less. I'm going to try and shake that pressure. I think it's a training process. I think I expected myself to suddenly not care so much, but that's not going to happen. Good morning, it's Tuesday. Can we please talk about this book? What? I have got this much left. It's not much, it's about 100 pages. I was reading quite a lot of it yesterday because I just want to finish it. So this story follows Lucy and it follows Josh. Lucy and Josh work together, they work opposite each other, they are kind of rival roles within a company merger. They both are like, not the assistant, but like they work with and for each respective CEO of the different companies that merge together. So they hate each other, basically, and then there's this opportunity for a promotion at work that they both want, and it would mean that they were the other one's boss. But basically they both agreed that if one of them gets it, the other one will quit the company. Problems with that anyway, the idea that our main character is Lucy, she's narrating it, the fact that she would quit her job because of this is just so frustrating, the fact that he would make her quit her job, essentially. And, oh god, okay, right. Everyone loves this book, everyone loves it. However, last night I posted up that I had some issues with it and quite a few people agreed with me, so I need to raise them. I have so many issues with Josh as a character in this book. He is so controlling, he is so possessive. At one point he tells her to go and kiss somebody else and then come back and tell him who is a better kisser and stuff like that. It's a love enemies to lovers romance, by the way, if you weren't aware. So that's like, you know that as soon as you go in. And I just, his possessive nature and the way that he controls her and the way that he's telling her what she can do. At one point he invites her somewhere, she says no, so he literally picks her up and carries her there instead. And it's just like, there is so much in it in which he is so possessive and so controlling. He really reminds me of Christian Grey a little bit, actually. Like, he's definitely got that kind of vibe about him. except he's just weirder. And Christian Grey has already kind of got some issues going on in terms of like how he controls people and the way that he speaks to people and the way he views and treats women until like, I suppose he turns around a little bit, I don't know. But this book, Josh is such an issue. And I don't know if he's like a problematic character, because I've spoken about this before, but in my opinion, a problematic character is a character that has major issues, but the audience or the reader doesn't necessarily pick up on it. So like, to use an example, someone like Sauron in Lord of the Rings, he is a huge big baddie. He is the biggest baddie there is. He is this huge massive energy source of power and evil. We know he's a baddie, therefore he is not a problematic character. But somebody like Josh in The Hating Game is romanticised and people like reading about him. Therefore he is not necessarily seen as a bad guy. He's not seen as manipulative and possessive by everyone. Sure, by some people, but some people possibly just see him as a swoony guy to just find romantic, which is absolutely fine if that's the way that people read it as well. Everyone interprets things differently, but that's why I believe he's a problematic character, because I don't think he is clearly outlined as this isn't okay. There are so many things about this that are just not feminist. Like, at one point, the girl Lucy doesn't want to pick up the phone because she doesn't want to have to say no to somebody, because she knows that what they're asking she's going to have to say no to. And he makes her pick up the phone, he picks it up for her, gives it to her, and then makes her say no. And it's just, the way that he does it isn't encouraging, it's not empowering. It's like she's doing it because he, a man, is telling her to. And it's just driving me insane. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. And then one minute, I love it again. Like, this is what I said yesterday, that I didn't like it to start with and then I was liking it a lot and was quite addicted to it. So I think I feel about this book the way the main characters feel about each other. I honestly don't know. I hate it, then I love it. This is going to be the most confusing book ever to rate. So that's what's happening with me. I'm also doing my exam. Here's my table of revision. Well, I'm not doing my exam, I'm revising for my exam. I've got an exam on Thursday. This is my digital marketing diploma for social media. And I have not done an exam in 7 years, and it's safe to say I'm a little bit stressed about this. My boss has been really encouraging, and he said that if I fail it, they'll pay for me to retake it, but I'm so bad at revising. There is 10 modules, and each module is 50 pages, and I have to cram this into my brain by Thursday. So my brain's slowly exploding. That's me. That's my quick update. I thought I'd quickly update you in the morning because I'm probably gonna get carried away throughout the day. And yeah, last night when I finished work, I literally got straight in the shower, washed my hair, put my pajamas on and just got ready for bed because I just felt like, oh. So, hi, welcome to Tuesday. Those are my thoughts. I feel like I like sharing my more, not controversial, but like my more different opinions on this because so many people have liked it. I feel like, as I've said before, I enjoy a lot of the books I read because I DNF something if I'm not enjoying it. So most of my opinions are going to be positive, whereas this is different. So those are my thoughts so far. Book mail books came in the mail. Hey, I got 2 completely different books. This is a YA thriller, and it is no, it's not called that at all. It's called They Wish They Were Us. Why was that so difficult? They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman. It's got blood splattered on the bottom. It was sent to me by Scholastic. It's a review copy, except I think it's a finished copy. And it's apparently for fans of Karen McManus and Gossip Girl, so it sounds quite fun. Then on the complete other end of the spectrum, it's a non-fiction book about periods. This is by Emma Barnett. I was about to say they're both by Emma's. I was like, no, this one's by Jessica. This is the kind of day I'm having, guys. My brain is not working properly. This is a non-fiction about periods. It says it's about bloody time on the front, which I like. It's a pun. Basically, I think the author was sick of not seeing any books like this out there, so she wrote her own. I'm all for talking about these kind of things and normalising talking about periods, talking about our bodies, talking about what is normal and not disgusting. So I wanted to read more about it, and also I really like the pink tone. I don't really have many pink books, so. I've actually had a really pants day, so I'm trying to push through and be more positive out of it because for me that's how I pull myself out of feeling too pants. And it's not necessarily that my mood has felt pants, it's just that a lot of things have happened that have kind of set me back a little bit. On top of the stress of revising for the exam that I have on Thursday, which is now on Friday, I had to push it because I had a real inconvenience in the middle of today that basically meant I wasn't really able to get much work done today because of something that happened within my flat. Basically my radiator, through various different means, has exploded almost and was very close to my face when it did it. There is context for this, I won't go crazy far into it, but basically my radiator short-circuited, it caused a power cut. I realised that was the issue, had a look at whether it was the radiator or the power itself whilst on the phone to the radiator man. He got me to check it in a different outlet with a different radiator power thing, because obviously I've got multiple of these electric radiators throughout my flat, and in doing that it exploded the top and a spark or flame came out. I'm not really sure what, because it was very quick, right to my face. I was on the phone to the radiator guy, I burst into tears out of shock, and that was my day. I'm fine, everything's fine. The radiator not so much, but I'm getting a new one tomorrow, so it's just gonna be a cold evening tonight. But it was just a bit of a weird day. So I'm gonna go for a walk soon once my phone's finished charging and just call Lauren to just normalize myself. But yeah, I'm pulling through. I might get a takeaway tonight just because I feel like I need something, and just watch the Hobbit special features because I am absolutely obsessed with that at the moment, and it is just, I'm so loving it. I'm basically watching a Hobbit film and then I'm watching the special features, and we're going about it like that. And then I'm going to read a bit more of that book that I don't know how I feel about, that I've forgotten the name of. The Hating Game, it's called The Hating Game. I keep wanting to call it Tweet Cute, which is another contemporary. I have absolutely no idea why I keep wanting to call it Tweet Cute. That, I don't even know if that's a similar book. I think the cover is pink for Tweet Cute, I don't know. So that's Tuesday for me. It's laughable because there's other stuff today that's like happened that's been like, but yeah, it's not all bad. For example, the fuse, by trying the other radiator power thing on the broken radiator, it actually short-circuited 2 radiators, the plugs. But my aunt and uncle, who live near me in the same town, thankfully, have spare fuses. So I went and saw them for like half an hour outside of their house and chatted with them, which is nice because I don't have any other relatives that live in my town, and I picked up the fuse. So it's not all bad because my heater in my bedroom might have been also out of action, but it's not. So we've just got no heating in the lounge. I say we, me, it's just me. There's no one else here. So I'm gonna go for a nighttime walk now and try not to fall asleep whilst walking because I'm very tired. And then I'm gonna get back and I'm gonna just rest and relax and chill because I need to. Oh, hi there, Wednesday. I hear you're gonna be better than Tuesday. I finished a book. I finished this book. I have been speaking on Instagram about my thoughts and feelings towards this book, and loads of people have replied saying, thank you for saying that, I agree. So no one else seems to like this book except when I bought this book. Well, I didn't buy it. Lauren bought it for me as a gift for Christmas. Sorry, Lauren, that I didn't like it. But everyone was like, yes, it's amazing. When I said I was reading it, people were like, oh my god, it's so good. And I saw so many people loving it. And now so many people are messaging me being like, nope, thank you for saying that. And I'm like, where was everybody when I was picking this book up? I thought everyone loved this book. I thought it was a fan favourite. I thought I couldn't go wrong. Oh my god, I gave it 2 stars. It just, no. This book is a hate to love romance. It pains me because I thought it had potential. Everyone said it had some really good sex scenes in it. And again, we had another sex scene where there was like pretty much an instant orgasm the first time they had sex, and I hate that because it's just not realistic. And there was no clumsiness, there was no awkwardness, it was just like absolute perfect. And I'm like, please set more realistic expectations for the first time people have sex with each other. Like, let's allow a little bit of clumsiness as people get to know each other. I know the point was that like, oh, the chemistry was just so good that it wasn't going to be like that, but like, okay, fine. It's a book, it's fiction, I can allow that. What I cannot allow is how creepy this guy is. At one point, he takes her phone off of her and he hangs up the call. He speaks on the phone and says, never call her again. He hangs up the phone and then he puts it in his own pocket. It's her phone and she was on the phone talking to somebody. And okay. He also has a serious complex about shorter men. So anyone shorter than him or anyone that's like 5'5", 5'6" as a man, he just thinks, he calls them a dork. And he just says that's stupid. And I'm like, people cannot help their heights. Like, just... He also does some incredibly creepy things in terms of how possessive he is over Lucy and the almost stalkerish nature that he has around her. And yet there's just nothing weirdly raised about it. Other than that, the jumpy, jolty style of this narrative, like, I would suddenly find the characters were in this position with each other that, like, they didn't get to that position, they were just in it. There was no description getting there. I don't think the writing was very strong on this, and honestly, there were just so many problems throughout the whole thing. Like, there's a lot going on that I don't want to say for spoilers, but it just frustrated me very deeply. The characters were awful, the relationship was terrible, the guy is so goddamn problematic, he is so controlling, and just... oh, the way it ends frustrates the crap out of me because he basically does something that means that she couldn't... He kind of takes the choice of succeeding as a woman away from her and kind of gives her success in other ways. That's as far as I can say, I think, without spoiling it. Basically, like, I feel like empowering storylines are women going about on their own, getting success, and there can be romance there, that's fine. It can be a romance book, it can be about the romance, but the romance is not pivotal to the individual success of that woman. That is what a feminist storyline would look like, that her success is not tied to the man. So those are my thoughts with this book. I gave it 2 stars. I don't like it. We're just gonna throw it over there. But you know what, that's fine, because I read so many 4-star reads last month, I think I had to rate one of them low at some point in the next coming months. So that's fine, we've got that out of the way. That's probably going to be my lowest rated book of the year. I don't know why I didn't DNF it. I felt like I wanted to see if it would redeem itself. It's going to be a film, and I hope they do it differently. I hope that they make him so much less the fictional character that he is. So that's my reading. I am reading a new book now, which is over there. Hang on, I'm gonna grab it. This follows a young girl who I think learns she has magical abilities, but at the moment we're with her. I mean, I'm not very far into it at all, like literally a chapter. Yeah, I'm 17 pages in. I read this just before falling asleep last night, but I think that we meet her, she doesn't know she's got magical abilities. We meet her when she's younger, and I suppose we see her become more of a teen / young adult as this book progresses. But so far we're seeing her struggles because she was born in America. I'm trying to get this right. Yeah, she was born in New York, but she's from Nigeria and she's albino, and she's moved back to Nigeria at like, I think 9-ish, they said. So she's got the issue that she's already outside the community of people within Nigeria at her school, and she already gets teased for the fact that she's got an American accent and she was living in America for most of her life, but then also the fact that she is albino is causing her some massive issues with her peers at school because they're just teasing her and bullying her and telling her she's white and putting that stigma on her and not really considering her one of them. So it's quite heartbreaking to read about the way that people are talking to her. They're being so mean, and it breaks my heart to see people being bullied, particularly at such a young age, because I think it's such a shaping thing, and you can go one way or the other. You can grow from it or you can hide from it, and I don't know which way she's going to go. I hope she's going to be someone that grows from it, but I really feel invested in this character. So I'm enjoying this so far. The writing style is really nice and flowing and easy. I don't know what made me pick this one up. I picked up 3 books and put them on my bedside table and just picked up all of them and read like the first page or so. And this one I couldn't not read more than the first page, so that was a good way for me to pick. But I'm enjoying it so far. I will keep you guys updated. I think it's definitely going to go down more of a magic-y route, because it says she becomes part of a quartet of magic students studying visible and invisible, learning to change reality. That sounds really cool to me, so I'm excited to read that. Other than that, I think I'm gonna wash my bed sheets. I'm still revising for my exam, and I'm gonna just have more of a lazy work day today because I need it. I went for a walk this morning. Basically, I went for a walk last night and lost my earring, which is very sad. It was my favourite earring. I've just lost the one. So I went back for a walk this morning. I got up early and retraced my steps and I couldn't find it, but I did get my exercise points done. So how many exercise points have I got? Hang on, 39 exercise points on my watch. I have to get 30 a day. So that means I don't have to do a workout or a walk after work, which is quite freeing. So I'm just gonna chill. But I got pizza last night and had a bath. Tried to relax myself because I just had a day yesterday. But my new radiator arrives today because the other one blew up. So it's very cold at the moment, but that's happening. So happy Wednesday. Have a great time watching the rest of this vlog. And the rest of the week's gonna be super great. It's just gonna be great, I've decided. Hello, it is 10 AM on Friday morning and it is exam day. My exam is at 1:45. I want it done and then I want to go home to my bubble and have a takeaway. We're getting a really nice pub takeaway and I can't remember the last time I had pub food. I'm excited. I just need the exam done. It says it's a 2-hour exam, but I think I might be able to do it in less than that because it's 100 questions and they're multiple choice, so hopefully it should be okay. My main issue with this exam is it's outdated and it wants you to answer the questions in a certain way. For example, when it talks about influencer marketing, one of the questions about influencer marketing, one of the options it gives you to say is you can give Instagram influencers free products and they will give you more favourable reviews because you've given them free products. And that's one of the options to select for advantages of influencer marketing. And that's the correct answer in their eyes. That's not the correct answer in my eyes. I don't think someone being given a free product makes them do a favourable review. But that is the question the exam wants me to say, the answer the exam wants me to say is correct, for example. These are in the test ones I've done. So it's stuff like that that's really frustrating because to me that's not the correct answer and that is not the current correct answer, but this exam is out of date, so yay. But I've got many reading updates. I got some book mail, I'm reading a new book, I finished my current read that I was reading the last time I spoke to you, and yeah, I thought I'd show you all of it. I've accidentally themed my book mail of the same colour, and also 2 of the books have really similar covers, which I'm finding quite entertaining. So the book that I finished is A Carter Witch. I think I was reading this the last time I spoke to you on Wednesday. I think I started it Wednesday morning or like late Tuesday night and read like 10 pages, but mostly I read this yesterday. So I finished this last night and really enjoyed it. This is a fantasy that I want to say is YA, but can also bridge into middle grade. The main character is 12 to 13. However, all the other characters that we also follow range from 12 to 13 to like 16. One of the characters specifically says she won't say her age, so that's kind of elusive. We don't know how old she is. But generally this read as a YA. It didn't feel like a middle grade. It felt the level of reading of a YA, and also the text size was YA. I know that sounds silly, but when you're reading a middle grade, the text tends to be a bit bigger and there's less words on each page. So I'm going to say this was a YA. This is set in Nigeria and it follows our main character Sunny, who has basically found out that she is part of this new magic group that she knew nothing about. She is a free agent, a free spirit within this magic group because her parents haven't taught her about it, unlike the other children that are in it, and it's all very new to her. But this system, basically the magic system within this book, works around the sense of there's general magic and you can use certain spells or juju to make this magic happen, and then there's also like your natural magic, which is like your special ability, and I love that kind of magic system. I love it when there is like someone has a very specific type of ability themselves. That makes me very happy. So that is the kind of story we're going around here. We follow 4 kids who are working together in this like coven-esque thing and they have to basically stop this big baddie. It's really, really brilliant. I absolutely loved it. I loved reading a book set in Nigeria because that isn't a setting that I've often read books from, if ever, and it was really interesting to read about it from that perspective as well. The pivotal point as well of this is the fact that our main character is albino and she basically has struggles throughout her life living in Nigeria. She lived in America until she was 9 and then she moved over to Nigeria where she's like, her parents are Nigerian, and she often refers to herself as American but living in Nigeria, and she kind of explains it, and you can see from this there is this struggle with herself as to how she is viewed and how she views herself as well, because as I was saying originally, she's albino and people treat her very differently for that because people say she's white or people say she's a ghost, and she very much comes back and says she is black, she's just albino. And you can see her identity kind of forming throughout this book from the start when she's saying like, no, I'm American, and then kind of becoming more immersed into this Nigerian culture is really fascinating and really enjoyable to read about because we can see her coming into her own. And I just loved that. I also really love the fact that this author speaks about any kind of disability, any learning difficulties, any ailments or visible differences that people have to only strengthen them within this magic system. So for example, one of the kids has dyslexia, and that his parents were like rejoicing when they found out because that makes him even better within this magic system, which I absolutely adore. We meet one of the characters later on and she's got scoliosis. I was so thrilled. I'm going to try and find the passage where it says about it because I was just thrilled to see someone has scoliosis, and it's just casual scoliosis, which is, I think, the best way to put it into books like this. It wasn't a big deal. So the line mentioned is, Sunny quickly followed her out. She couldn't help staring at Sugar Cream's back. One shoulder was higher than the other and her spine curved in a most profound S. Had she been like this as a baby? Maybe this was why her parents had abandoned her. And then they have a little bit of a conversation and this woman goes, I have severe scoliosis and no, I was not born this way. And I love that. I love it so much. It made me so happy. I was very excited when I read that because I was like, yes, representation. Anyway, really, really good book. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. The creativity was just brilliant and I just think this author is such a beautiful writer. The way that she writes the magic in and the creatures and the people, and it's just made me happy, Now before I tell you what I'm reading at the moment, I'm going to show you my book mail because one of the books that came in the mail is my current read. Book mail, books came in the mail and they're all red. Look, I've accidentally themed my book mail. How has this happened? So the first bit of book mail that I got is finally my hardcover of A Vow So Bold and Deadly. I had to track this down. The only place I could find this, unfortunately, was Amazon and Book Depository. I ordered it from Amazon back in October, and then they emailed me saying that they didn't actually have any last week, and I was like, oh, okay. So Book Depository seemed to have them, so I switched my order and ordered it through Book Depository, but this completes my hardback collection of this series, which honestly in my head is not as good now as when I first got the hype for it, but they're cool hardbacks and they're pretty covers and I like the red. I've got no idea anything about this book, but I was looking up sex positive books, and this is a non-fiction that talks about redefining our attitudes to love and sex by Dr. Kelly Neff. I've got absolutely no idea who she is. I don't know anything about this book. It's a second-hand battered copy, but I thought it was an interesting book to read more of if I want to talk more openly about sex positivity and just generally talk more about this kind of thing on my channel without feeling like I have to have a barrier in front of me for it. So I want to educate myself more on that, so I thought I'd get this book. Carrying down the non-fiction route, I've got these two. These arrived yesterday and I am obsessed with this one. This is Sex Ed for Adults. I managed to somehow get a signed edition of Waterstones, but the things in this book are just brilliant. Like the illustrations. This book is really, really interesting. If you are looking for some sex ed as an adult and you don't know where to start, I would really recommend this. It's illustrative, it's inclusive, it talks about partner sex and just being by yourself as well. It covers so many different things, and from what I can see already, it looks like it's going to be a really insightful and interesting read. Then across the similar ilk of talking openly about our bodies and sex positive, I've got The Vagina Monologues by Eve Ensler. This is one I thought I should probably read because obviously this is a well-known play. This features 6 monologues that apparently have never been published before, and this is also the anniversary edition, which means it has a foreword by Jacqueline Woodson in it. I have heard lots of things about this play and I thought the book would be really interesting. There's different formats within this, so it's more like that, based in prose, is that in verse? Verses as well, verses paragraphs as well. So there's also different formats in here, as I suppose it's 6 different monologues, so they're going to be presented in different ways. But this looks really, really interesting and is quite short, so I think it's something that I could easily get through. But I think this is an important one to read, given that I want to know more and talk more about this kind of thing on my channel. Then a book arrived off my wish list, which I was not expecting, and is super, super kind of Emily, who bought me From Blood and Ash, which is way heavier than I expected it to be. This is by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I have had this on my wish list ever since Lauren from Fiction Tea read it and told me I had to add it, and it was really good, and everyone says it's fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit daunting, it's very chunky, but actually I think the pages might just be super thick. It's 600 pages, so they're thick pages, but also just daunting. But yeah, this is how big it is. I've been wanting to read this one for a while because everyone says it's really good, so why not see for myself? So Emily was very kind and bought this for me off my wish list. Thank you, Emily. And finally, I bought The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp, and I am reading this one at the moment. From what I can see so far, this is basically about a girl who has been a con artist all her life, and I think that was somehow involved with her mum being within that kind of, yeah, a con artist mum. Her mum was a con artist as well. So they're both kind of doing the con artist game, but immediately we've been thrown into her being involved in a bank robbery. I'm 20 pages in and she's on the floor. There's guns, there's danger, there's a bank robbery, and I am gripped. I could not put this down last night until like I was just falling asleep because I just finished this. So this so far is fantastic. I picked this up because I'd seen so many people raving about it, but also the event that I did with Tandem Collective the other week, all the authors said they loved this. So I was like, well, if 4 authors have told me that they've adored this, I'm going to pick it up. Also, can we just acknowledge this for a minute? These came in the same Waterstones order. They have the same cover. Like, not the same, but how weird is that? I didn't do that deliberately. Like, what? We've both got the reds and the hair cut out. What? Anyway, that's That's the books, that's what I'm reading, that's what I've read. It's gonna be a great day. I just want my exam done. I'm gonna go and eat some breakfast now and hopefully catch up with you at some point later. I passed my exam, I passed my exam, yeah, it's done, it's done. I got 80%, I had to get 60% to pass. I shocked myself, was not expecting it. I'm so pleased. I've been studying for this since the summer. I have a diploma in social media marketing now, which fits very nicely with my social media manager job title, and I'm so relieved. Why did that wear me out running up and down? Okay, I just wanted to tell you that quick, but oh my god. Oh, I'm so relieved. It's the traditional, I'm sat on the floor at 10 at night because I just got back home from my bubble and I'm wrapping up the vlog shot. Here we are, it's Saturday night and I have been at home in my bubble all day today, as in at home, back in my family home, not at home here. One day I will get that right. But I'm back home, hello, came back to some posts, I've just been sorting through all of that, got a frame for a print that I have had and I am excited. I tried to put it up tonight. I thought for some reason that I could nail the hole in the wall, well, hammer the nail in the wall quietly. I can't, so I'm gonna do that tomorrow so my neighbours don't completely hate me. And I thought I would give you my wrap up now, my reading updates, so that I can take all of this off. I know, what a shame. And just, yeah, round up the week really, because it was quite a week. Like, I feel like the start of the week was, but then it picked up on Friday, yesterday, when I passed my exam. I feel so free from that now. I feel like it's been sitting over me since the summer. Like, even at work, I feel like I can be a manager now because it's just been hanging over me that in any free time I've had to do that rather than formulate new social strategies or look at different ways that we can improve the way we're doing things. I've just not been able to do that, so I haven't been able to really look at the managerial side of things as much. So I feel free. I feel good. I feel actually optimistic about the week ahead. Tomorrow I'm probably not going to do much but read, but I thought I would give you a quick reading update. So the last time we spoke, I think I just started reading The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. I am now, I think, about halfway through page 163. Read quite a lot of it today. Ava and I sat and read together. I went for a really nice walk as well. It was very much an Ava and Beth day today, which is always nice. But I'm enjoying this so far. It kind of goes between the past for our main character as she is various different characters in herself because she's helping her mum doing con acts, not that it's something she wants to be helping her mum doing, but she's kind of swept up in it, versus her being in a bank robbery, and this is kind of going between the two and showing how her previous lives have affected her and built her to the person she is today. I'm enjoying this so far. It feels quite gripping. The chapters are quite short and we keep going back and forth between, so it makes me want to keep reading because I want to know what's happening with the bank robbery side of things. I definitely preferred the start to the middle. It's still really strong, but the start completely gripped me, whereas now the bank robbery is kind of established as the main plot point. I understand that's where we're going to be for the book, so I'm less like, oh my god, what's going to happen, because I know that what's going to happen is going to happen at the end of the book. I mean, obviously what's going to happen is going to happen at the end and also throughout the book, because that's what a plot is. Anyway, enjoying this. Also finished A Carter Witch this week, which I gave 4 stars, and I finished The Hating Game, which I gave 2 stars because it was awful and just no. So that was my week. It's been a week, yeah? I don't know any other way to say it, because I think if you're watching the start of this vlog, you'll see that my Tuesday was like, ah, but then the rest of the week was better. So excuse me now whilst I go and eat some biscuits that my friend sent me for Valentine's Day, read my book, and or, oh, no, I'm gonna watch WandaVision because I didn't watch it yesterday. I'm gonna watch WandaVision, so that is gonna happen. If you enjoyed this video or in any way would like to show me any kind of support, or you just really enjoy clicking buttons, there is a thumbs up button down there. Do click it and magical things will happen. Of course, if you liked clicking that button enough that you want to click another button and type a few keys, you can comment down below anything you like, whatever you were reading this week or something happy that's happened to you where you'll meet some positivity. And if you want to click just one more button, you can subscribe to see more of my face on your feed. See, I mixed up the outro. Was it fun? Did we like it? I don't know, just, you know, if you like the video, then thumbs up. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Do keep smiling, stay positive, and have a good week, I guess.